So welcome all. It's so beautiful to see you, to come together like this. We see many familiar faces here, some faces that are new as well. We'd love to know where you're from if you want to write in the chat. So we're really happy to be coming together tonight for this webinar on cosmic alchemy in these turbulent times that we're living in. This is an informational webinar in which we will do collective alignment if we have time. We will also have questions and answers at the end. So the purpose of this webinar was to share the latest insights we have received through the channel of Mary Magdalene School, and also to share how we will be guiding our global community through these changes, these intense changes, with global light work to provide also a field of safety, of nourishment, inspiration, illumination, connected to the Divine Mother, and of course, as always, to a beautiful planetary collective of divine human beings. So all change begins with seeing and being with what is, as it reveals itself in our inner world and in our outer world, and then choosing where to put our focus. So our thoughts, our words, and our actions for the creation of the higher reality we want to live in. And if you're here today, then you definitely are choosing to be creating a higher reality and to be co-creating that all together. So in Mary Magdalene School, our commitment is to be building peace through illumination, alignment with higher realities of oneness, which we learn about as we modify our inner vibrational field. So to this end, we are going to be doing a global peace program in just a few weeks. And we'll talk about this later in our webinar, along with other opportunities for co-creation with our school and with the higher light realms. So as you probably know, we're living in a very special solar cycle. I don't think anyone can miss this now because we are all being affected in such a powerful way. The sun's magnetic activity naturally ebbs and flows in 11-year periods, we are told. And this is known as solar cycles. So we're almost halfway through the current cycle, which started in 2019. And the sun's activity is really expected to reach its peak activity this year between January and October. So that's now, we're in it, full-time in it. At the beginning of the solar cycle, we experienced relatively few solar flares, but by January of this year, we were experiencing up to 12 X-class solar flares in one day. This is huge. This is huge. This is extremely intense solar activity. So while these solar flares are helping us to solarize our being, they're also challenging us physically, mentally, emotionally, and no one, I think, is immune to that. So these solar flares are contributing to the great illumination and awakening of us all, of all of humanity, though we will continue to experience a lot of turbulence in our world as we integrate as well all of this light. So you may have felt the influxes in your body in the most intense ways in this past month or two, and even more than ever, we really encourage you to look after your body temple, because these electrical upgrades can cause a lot of instability in our divine bodies. So the increase of the cosmic downloads is really asking us to daily to ground, walk outside barefoot if you can, and to align with this new light that's coming in. And at the same time, we're experiencing this extraordinary ascension of Gaia as her frequencies are transforming into a Christed sun, Christed spiritual sun, in resonance with the cosmic spiritual sun of creation. So we're needing to stay tuned to her, really close to Gaia, to be in alignment with our earth home and to benefit as well from this unbelievable potential of this time. The Sophia Christ consciousness is beginning to amplify on earth, and this consciousness is rewiring us to be able to access our highest potential as loving divine beings. So that's where we're going, and it's an extraordinary experience. So some of the themes that we're being guided to, that we will touch on now in our school and in the coming months, include the path of peace and Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy. And these themes have come to the surface to be shared with you all as divine beings having incarnated into this specific time of turbulence on Gaia. So we're here to raise ourselves, to step up into our highest multidimensional expertise, because we, each and every one of us, hold an expertise within ourselves of how to move through this time, and to collaborate in the orchestration of amplifying unconditional love on Gaia. So the program tonight, we will have a short alignment meditation just to all land together now, to come together and really create a coherent field. Then we will go into a little bit of astrology, some cosmic revelations, a little bit about the path of peace, a bit of Q&A, and a closing meditation altogether. So we'll just take a moment now before we continue any further to go into silence. And I invite you to close your eyes for just a moment so that we can really land in our hearts, bring all our awareness into the space of the heart. And as we do that, we'll just breathe in and we'll breathe out, letting go of any tensions or any stories that we have been involved with today and the days before. We'll just let all of that go, any tension, any discomfort. And just for this moment in time, we'll move into a relaxed state, feeling the space of our heart, and feeling that this is where we become coherent within ourselves, with all of the energies that are in movement at the present time. We'll become aware of the heart as this incredible processor for all of these energies, with its incredible alchemy to unify and make coherent all of these informational fields, bringing us to a singular point within ourselves, where we know exactly what it is that is ours to do, what it is that we need to do for ourselves to bring our mission into the world as our service to an ascending planet. So feel this incredible center within yourself and feel this beautiful human family that's come together and all the angels and the light masters that are here today to support our coming together to create a coherent field of light and love. And we will take a couple more breaths in and out. And just for a moment, feel into your personal role in this shift to anchor in the next level of light and oneness consciousness. And feel into what opportunities are there in your life now to contribute to setting the stage for the new. What opportunities arise for you now? So that you can take an active role in bringing in the new, a conscious role. Just allow your heart to reveal what is to be revealed today. And on the next in-breath, I'll slowly invite you to open your eyes again, taking these questions with you, maybe in the days to come, if they're not clear already. Slowly open your eyes, and with this, maybe Petra, you can start to move into the astrology.
Yeah, you spoke about turbulent times, and we have done an astrological analysis of the upcoming periods. And as always, I mean, this has really made us realize even more that we can expect unprecedented transformation of the old and accelerated manifestation of the new. Hooray! And we are going to talk about the movement of the outer planets, as they are called, because these are the ones that have the greatest effect on our collective human family. So we're going to talk about Pluto, about Uranus, the Aquarius energies, Neptune, and we also touch on Saturn and Jupiter. And all of those play a very significant role this year, and they are starting to do so already in the first half. So the details of how the shift influences each of us personally will depend on our personal astrological horoscope and our spiritual practice. But one thing is for sure with the constellation that is here now, it will strongly impact each and every one of us. Having said that, we want to remind you, and we almost say we must remember, that we have a tremendous opportunity for growth at this time. It's all here, it's very potent, it's not always easy, but it is a really exquisite time to move through the most difficult portals into the new. So it's also a time to remember that we have very powerful spiritual tools to walk the path of peace. And it's something to be reminded of, because sometimes in the turmoil, when lots of things are happening, we don't think of them, but we are trained and we do have a toolkit of spiritual tools to walk the path of peace. So before we go deeper into the astrology, we want to say something first about what we call the new cosmic humans and the new cosmic light bodies. Do you want to go into that for a moment, Anna?
Yeah, I'd love to. So this is the promise of our times, becoming the new cosmic humans with activated cosmic light bodies, able to be interfacing with our all life in our universe and beyond. So we have access to tremendously powerful cosmic alchemy when we move into these levels, which takes place within our systems, because our systems, we must be reminded, hold the entire universe within them. And it is really here where magic and miracles are created. This is a strong focus in the teachings of our school, and more on that later. But in any case, you may have been hiding until now somehow in your own corner somewhere, but now is the time to seize this moment, because it's so extraordinary, and you'll feel better and better as you come into action to walk your soul path. You will heal naturally, and you will feel this ultimate reality of oneness. This is actually what we are all being asked to do, is to really walk our soul paths. We have manifested here physically as souls with a mission, each and every one of us. And we really do need to be reminded that let's not waste our time by not manifesting what our souls came here to manifest. We will talk a little bit more about building soul power a little bit later, but it's really a time to practice aligning energy, our thoughts, our words and actions, to practice being in integrity with ourselves so that we show up coherently in our world. It's a time to examine and heal inner conflicts. And sometimes people ask us what those are, but these are parts of our sub-personality, we could understand it this way in any case, that are not necessarily in agreement with each other about our thoughts, words, or actions. So there's a part that says yes, and there's a part that says no, but actually our work is to consolidate those parts, make unity, find a place where those inner parts of ourselves come together and they say, yeah, 100% yes, or 100% no, or 100% I'm going in this direction, so that there's not an inner conflict, because those inner conflicts then reflect in our outer world. So this is a large part of our inner work, so that we can be pure channels, pure vessels for the higher mind of this natural organic evolution that we're in. And we really are not exaggerating when we say that practicing this alignment is a full-time job. It really
It
is.
is.
So when we are in alignment, source flows through us with ease on its own. And when we are not in alignment, then it becomes bumpy. So the full-time job is to stay in alignment and to work with all the tools that we have to be in that alignment as much as possible in these times.
Yeah. So coming back to astrology, because it is the time to arrive in our cosmic bodies, and the astrology gives us also a direction in that. So you see here on the slide, two slides, Pluto in Capricorn, and then on the right side, Pluto in Aquarius. And you might have heard of it because it's spoken about a lot, because it's quite a significant change. Is that in January, Pluto has moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius. And as you can maybe see, there's a little arrow still there that has a movement back, which will happen actually in September, October, November of this year, that Pluto for the last time, at least in our lifetimes, go back into Capricorn, and then after November, it will stay for the coming 20 years in Aquarius, and then it will keep on moving on to the others, into the other signs. Why this is so important is when Pluto is involved as an outer planet, we're really talking about big shifts, because Pluto moves really slow. It lasts 20 years, and I say around 20 years to move through one sign in the entire radix. So when it moves there, it's going really deep on each and every minute or every second of the radix. And Pluto is all about going deep, going all the way to the bottom. It's the planet that is about death, and I mean death in many different ways, about resurrection and about rebirth. And it goes all the way to reveal everything that is not being seen. And the last couple of years, Pluto has been in Capricorn, and specifically in the last degrees. You might have heard about it. This is what we call dictator degrees. And when it is in these last degrees, that dictator energy is, it says it already, it's a very intense energy where everything around power over others, very dense energies that reveal really dark, deep, dark stories that are beyond anything that is life giving. So that is happening in the last few degrees of Capricorn. And now we have moved into Aquarius, which is a completely different energy, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And this is a naturally expansive movement. It is going beyond what is familiar, exploring what we don't know, what is beyond what we know, exploring fields we have never ever dreamed of. So there's a whole opening in the energies at the moment, revealing itself. But when you first move into those energies, it's quite a shift, it's quite a change, which can cause some turbulence, and also can have some side effects, which we will be talking about in a few minutes. So 2024 is not only going to be transformative, it is what we would say a turning point of consciousness on Earth. And we have been prepared for that already for a long time. So the energies may be intense and chaotic, yet they are very different in nature from the ones we experienced the last years. Now, as I mentioned, a big influencer in this is Pluto, who has moved into Aquarius, which results in moving this energy beyond the contraction into all these expansive energies. And when I say expansion, I mean expansion on the level of collective awakening. It is about revelation of truth. It can also be revolutionary energies. You may expect major innovations because of this really thinking beyond anything that we know so far. And those major innovations can be for the better. So the more we work together with the new generations, we'll see more and more of these beautiful innovations coming into the world. It is about new healing technologies. It is really about opportunities. There is an excitement that comes with it, an expecting energy, and it is also about yeah, human rights for all of us, or maybe we should say for all of life. So, as Pluto is already in Aquarius at the moment, it will go back again into Capricorn for 3 months, September, October, November, and then as of November for 20 years, it will stay in this energy of Aquarius. So, we could expect in these 3 months, like, yeah, these 3 months, September, October, November, when Pluto is again in this dictator degrees, the shadow side of Pluto that's expressed about themes of control of population. You can see great attempts of holding the control. There can be fear, there can be chaos. And we really need to understand and remember that all this is a sign that a new consciousness is rising. Because within the new consciousness, there's no such thing as power over others. There is a whole process of liberation happening. And there is, that's definitely what's going to be rising in our field. So we will be seeing more visibly than ever before, maybe in those months also, abuse of human and animal rights and the rights of our beautiful Mother Earth. And we need to understand that these manifestations will allow our entire human family to stand up and say, no more, we don't tolerate this anymore. So whatever is gonna happen in these months, it's very important for us to watch it, to observe it, to hold the field, and to bring in everything that we hold in our hearts to create the new, as these final battles in a way are being played out. So yeah, then I would like to say something about this Aquarian portal that started with Pluto moving into Aquarius on last January 21st. It's a marker of great change. That's always the case with Pluto. And it requires strength and resilience. Its qualities available to us in the collective energy field. We can see that also in the astrology. So strength and resilience. And it is also the shift into understanding ourselves as part of the web of life, in brother and sisterhood with all of life. That is all about this Aquarian portal. And the main essence of the Aquarian portal, or maybe I should say the Aquarian era, is first of all, remembering and the reclamation of our individual power, our sovereignty within the collective brother and sisterhood in full collaboration. So we will remember, we do remember already, and we reclaim our individual power of being this divine multidimensional creator, which is long forgotten through eons of false programming and living behind the veil. So that's the first element of this Aquarian portal. And the second is, it is a message of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual liberation from the slavery perpetuated for centuries. And this feeling of liberation will, will grow and grow in ourselves, and we will come out as a total new human being. It is also a message of responsibility for being conscious of who we are and what did we come for on earth at this time. It's what Anna brought in the meditation, that we really should be conscious about what it is that we come here to do, what is our soul mission, and how can we grow our soul power even more. And then the responsibility, take the responsibility for our personal journey. And that involves being fully responsible for everything we think, we feel, and we do. That's the alignment. So we no longer can maintain, let's say, the luxury to blame others for our state of being. That's over. So that is the practice we've been going through for a long time, and now it is here to live it. So the 2024 year is a portal that emphasizes the retrieval of our inner divine power, so we can then see the same divine power in all of us, and joining as one family, one brother and sisterhood, to bring the change we so deep wish to see in our life, in our society, in our planet. And this change will be activated and driven by Pluto and the Uranus energies. As I mentioned, Uranus is the ruler over Aquarius. So as we continue recognizing our divine power, and we're stepping into a new cycle of conscious creation and sovereignty, in which we're guided by our God self, I mean, the world is going to be just gorgeous to be in. And we own ourselves and our personal trajectory, always in alignment with God's will and no one else. So we'll understand on a deeper level the truth of who we really are. And from this space, we're able to co-create in new ways with the higher minds and our higher thoughts as an important tool of alchemy. This is the basis of new creation. So, Aquarius. The Aquarius energies will bring a deeper understanding of the principles of alchemy. It's part of the whole energy field. And alchemy uses cosmic light and information, intelligence, cosmic intelligence. It uses also sacred geometry, frequencies and resonance in order to shift one reality into another. So having this strong Aquarius energy in our field for the coming 20 years, the stage is set for really the new creation. And we're so ready for that. So a little bit more about Pluto and the new human being. And as Pluto always brings the energy of profound transformation through death, resurrection, and rebirth, we as a collective humanity will experience a complete metamorphosis through which we are born again as the new cosmic human being. And some have referred to this by the term homo luminous. And we have to be reminded that this is not just a small adjustment. It is really going to be super new. This is not about redoing something that has been there in the past. This is going to be completely new, a complete metamorphosis, a complete rebirth. So that is what we can see happening here. And while a lot of people have learned to have resistance towards the new or towards unknown, we would like to invite you to move through the shifts in a state of curiosity, like a child, yeah? In openness and wonder and what is revealing itself. Because we believe that resistance is a program, like many others, that we have held for many millennia. So, as far as we're concerned, how about now transforming this into awe and wonder, and allow our inner child to investigate and research the world with new eyes. So we're remembering our multidimensional skills if we do so, and our abilities, and we use them for the new creation. We're creating connection with the new higher realities that for now are still unknown to many, but will soon be known for a lot of people on Gaia. So we're really looking forward to that, to move through this portal.
Yes, we are. Many of these realities are galactic and cosmic, and they can be found, well, where else? Within ourselves, within our own human genetic codes, within our divine bodies. So the entire universe, as we said before, is found in our systems, and humanity is still learning to understand that, or to remember that, to look inside for answers. Through the work of the fallen masters of light, we have been indoctrinated really to believe that the answers exist on the outside, but remembering that everything lies within is actually part of the process that we're in as human beings. And as each and every one of us remembers this, then our world will be so transformed. Pluto brings us into our inner cosmos. So we are really held by the astrology for this movement. It brings us back into our multidimensional bodies, which always reflect back to us the truth of whether we're in balance or not in balance. So the change that we're in and also the chaos can be understood as a benevolent sign. It's not very comfortable for most people. This may seem as a contradiction that this is a benevolent sign, but it's a reminder that all of the painful stories that are played outside in the outer world are in a state of dissolution. And we're here now all together to be creating from the inside out the new. So we have these fierce energies of Pluto and Uranus, as Petra explained, both powerful forces. We're invited to adapt to the change that we have been creating from the inside. So Uranus especially is going to push us to work on acceptance, on surrendering, for there are really things we cannot change or control, or actually even follow, because it's all going way too fast. So we just have to accept, because there's no way that the mind can catch it. The change that humanity is going through now will continue its course, and our ability to adapt is vital. So as we continue to work on our personal and collective liberation, the challenges will help us grow. And we need to understand that the universe is reorganizing itself. It's realigning everything, which is often through what we feel as chaos. But the invitation is to learn to be still within us, to stay in the eye of the storm. This way we can navigate the turmoil, and to stay in the heart, because the heart has this unbelievable ability to allow us to be in coherency, find a way for us to be in coherency in spite of all of this stuff that's happening. So we also need to remember that we can decide on how we move through this transition. So the internal quality of energy we want to be in as we move through it. And we can make affirmations each morning, for example, to set into the quantum field, to code the field, how we want to live this one day in time in the turmoil that's around us. And we can say, for example, I am serene and calm in my transformation. Why not? We can be. It's a choice. I embrace all change in order to express my highest potential. So let's go with the change, and let's also encode the field with the way we want to move through the change, because we're not victims to the change. The change is happening in order for us to move into our highest potential. So there's another aspect of what we may be feeling on one of the challenges that we may have, which is mental overload, mental energy overload, because in 2024, it's going to be experienced as very fast, lots of events, full of dynamic action as Pluto has moved into an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign. for the next 20 years. So, and Jupiter will be amplifying this move into the air sign Gemini in May. So it will get really interesting. So you may experience mental energy overload that in itself could lead to fear or anxiety. So if this happens, really, it's important to take time to release the mental overload that is caused by stress, and that causes stress. It's a loop. It becomes a vicious loop, or it can. So we have a few suggestions on how to decrease this overload, because we're also getting used to this energy, Pluto being in Aquarius. So one of the things we can do is come back to the calming waters, because water balances the element of air. Spend time in nature. We keep on saying that because it really works. Practice emptying your mind. You know, how about that? That we don't always need to be thinking about something. We can really just make space in the mind, relax the brain, and trust that what I need to know, I will know, because I will know it from my higher mind, and I don't have to occupy myself with it. So just practice emptying the mind, allowing your mind to be in silence. Bring your awareness to all the things you don't really need to do or manage. It's really possible just to filter out the things that we don't need to do. We tend to live in a lot of excess in our society, but actually there's a lot we don't need to do if we actually focus our attention on only our priorities. That will really help. Downsizing our list of tasks that require mental activity. This is a really good one. It's a really interesting exercise that we suggest that you do. Then unsubscribing from mail lists or social media groups that do not really nourish you, but are just activating your mind without really giving you any nourishment. Simplifying our lives. This is a good one, making an intention every morning that our life is directed by only the tasks that we really need to do, and that they're done with ease, so that we don't have to keep on thinking a lot about them, but that we align with ease in the morning when we do our alignment and we put out our intentions. And to make an intention each morning that love reveals itself in everything we do today, to show us how creation can seamlessly unfold without overthinking. That's something that is really a wonderful thing to practice. So with the influence of Aquarius and its ruler Uranus, you may feel unusual new changes in your life, in your thinking, with your ideas, your identity, or the way that you relate to things or people. And you may witness this really high speed inner revolution happening. It may feel like all of the habitual signposts are really just not there anymore, and you have no point of reference. That could very well be happening. It definitely is happening with us, so it's a very interesting experience. You're in a process of reshaping your personal life, so really care for yourself. We are learning how to operate in a new way, in a new world. And this takes time and patience. So again, come back to the heart center, because the heart is your anchor into a coherent state. Through meditation, breathing techniques, going into nature, as you know, living from the inside out, not the other way around, and letting go of getting attached to the drama of the outer world, because it's really easy to let this drama dominate our lives if we're not careful. So the energies and changes may come at a speed that we can't follow with our mind or with our body in this high mental energy. So we encourage you to surrender into the inner planes and just trust that all is well, and focus on serenity. Encode this into your day, that I will move through my day in serenity and in heart-based creation. We're witnessing the fall of a reality that was created from mind-heart disconnection, which is by nature a diseased reality. And we are all together now establishing a new heart-based organic source reality. So the best place to stay is in the heart. And now, what happens if you can't trust that all is well? Because that can also happen. And if this happens at moments, because we're challenged, then make a choice to believe that all is well. Just choose to believe it until the trust comes back. And this really works because the energies are working so fast now. They're changing so quickly that no matter where you find yourself, you're not going to find yourself there for very long. So surely in time, your trust will indeed come back.
Yeah, it does. It does. But it's also, I think, about alignment with the benevolent unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Uranus comes to offer us with a very important lesson: freedom from control, breakthroughs, change. So, in the new field of this liberation, there's only the unknown, because it will. One thing for sure is that we know it's going to change. So, this brings often stress to many of us. It gives a fear of losing control, as we have no reference for this new field, nor have we learned how to give over the control over our life to the divine guidance. So you probably recognize this, yeah? I mean, we're so used to being in control. We are in a steep learning curve to learn a way of being that is ultimately what all long for. And our reality is moving into a much more fulfilling reality, and we feel it happening already. So the path of peace is a path where we step into the benevolent unknown, always held by the Divine Mother, Father. And we invite you to remember the benevolence of the universe. It's a benevolence that's always creating, it's recreating, re-establishing new realities to be experienced for our joy and our inspiration. So we invite you to walk with the senses of a child, expecting, excited, ready to learn and experience. Listen to your soul as your inner compass. And then there will be so much fulfillment in moving through change. So remember, we are the initiators, the seeders of the new era, and the catalyst for all of this. And we're anchoring from within until we see our dream and it emerge in the material world. And I must say, it's by no coincidence that we are guided to have a peace program during the next month to prepare ourselves for the most powerful solar eclipse of the year on April 8th, and later the constellation between Jupiter and Uranus on April 2021. So to take you through a few more other elements of the astrology in March, April, because these 2 months will have a very expensive energy, which may have, it could be that we experience it first through a contraction and that then we move into expansion, but it can also be that you move right away into a huge expansion. It's like birthing a baby. You never know how it comes into the world, And that's going to be the same in this specific period. So in March, we have the equinox, which is going to be an incredibly powerful portal of creation. And then in April, we have two huge energetic moments. And I just named two for the moment because they overshine everything almost. That is on April the 8th, we will have this most powerful solar eclipse of the year, which is going to be at 19 degrees of Aries, and it's going to be conjunct Chiron. And Chiron is, as you may know, the wounded healer. It's when Chiron is involved, there is always a great potential of collective healing. And within this deep, profound, changing year, to have this constellation with the solar eclipse means that there is a collective healing waiting for all of us. And then further on in the month, around April 2021, Jupiter will be conjunct Uranus, which is happening every 14 years. So that's also not something that happens a lot in Taurus. And this gives us the opportunity of a big, big jump. Jupiter is always the one that amplifies any kind of energy. And then with this strong Uranus energy, they go hand in hand, arm in arm. And these are two planets that are both about freedom, about the future, about integrity, linked in originality, authenticity, creative, taking risks, living with joy, and so much more. It's really an expensive energy, and a consciousness that comes with it. It's about personal development. It's about spiritual development. So all of these exciting, vibrant energies will come to the surface then, and it's an energy that is about a big, big jump. It's not about holding back. So if you, like Anna said before, you have maybe lacked courage, or for whatever reason you have not stepped forwards, this is really a moment that you will feel the wind in your back, and it will support you with an even deeper alignment of your deepest dreams. So, and the best advice in all of these changes is to stay in the flow of the present moment, and stay in the stillness of your heart, living in the moment. We say it so often. So this amplification of energy may also result in shattering belief system, which is a beautiful thing, because as Jupiter is connected also to higher consciousness, you may experience peak experiences in consciousness, and you will receive completely new insights in life and in our cosmic life, our galactic lives. And we will have downloads as humanity about galactic experiences. That's one thing that we can expect. So shattered belief systems are actually a blessing, because we're building new narratives, new beliefs from a higher field of light. And these new beliefs are anchored in oneness consciousness. And they are building our new biology. This is where we turn into the new human. So, and I mentioned already before when we talked about fast speeds, in May, Jupiter moves into Gemini, and that will again give this wave of overwhelming energies. For some, they may be really good. For others, it's way too much. So do whatever is best for you in those times. And go back into your anchor to know what is true or not, because the amount of information that's coming through in that period can be really overwhelming, and it may not always be clear what is truth in it. Now, from May till September, there is, we're going to talk a little bit about Neptune, another outer planet, that will be at the 29 degrees at the end of Pisces. It's been there for a long time, and now it's at the end of the sign. And because Pisces is also the last sign in the zodiac, if you look at the radix, the astrological radix, which starts with Aries and ends with Pisces, when an outer planet moves there, you could have a feel that something really big is ending. And what we often hear is that things are collapsing, but what this is really about is that it is the end of a world and that the old world is dissolving and that we're ready to be reborn into the new. So, but those feelings may sometimes be leading to uncertainty. And this is where the inner practice will make all the difference when we move through these energetic purification fields that are anchored in our hearts and witnessing what is, and then using cosmic alchemy, all our tools, and keep our attention, our soul mission to hold and balance the fields as the flow of life moves through it, arriving in a more loving, compassionate, and harmonic world. And then the last thing I would like to say about the astrology is these October-November momentum. So when we arrive in November, it's the moment that Pluto for the last time leaves Capricorn, arrives in Aquarius, and that will make all the difference from then on to start building the new through really big innovations. So the entire year 2024, we've had Saturn in Pisces, and we spoke about that a year ago when Saturn entered Pisces. This is really about spiritual integrity and spiritual maturity. And we have been practicing this the entire year that is behind us now. And as we navigate the bigger picture, expect to witness more false systems crumbling. And we're actively working with the higher forces of light in reclaiming the natural grids of Earth. So paving the way for a brighter journey towards a new Earth paradigm. And our primary task as ascending souls with this spiritual maturity is to stay rooted in our higher hearts, finding equilibrium between the ego and surrendering always to divine will. It's about this alignment with ourselves, with the greater purpose of amplifying the consciousness of love, of peace and harmony for all beings. So, knowing all of this movement, all of this change, and there is more because we only tapped on the big things, how to best navigate 2024. And we say, choose to walk the path of peace. We cannot change the astrological movements, but we can choose how we move through these external forces, which exist in us simultaneously. So a few tips to navigate 2024 is really everyday surrender into source love, surrender to Divine Mother, surrender to your inner voice, to the divine will that moves through the inner voice, and align your inner voice with your thoughts really pure and exact, and align your inner voice with your actions. Embrace that which presents itself inside and outside, and allow transformation processes the time and the care that they need. It's really important that we move through it in the pace that it's possible to transform them. Trust your inner power and resilience. Be disciplined in your spiritual practice. As always, spend time with like-minded people, and train your thoughts into non-judgment. So important to create a world of peace, to entrain our thoughts into non-judgment and shift all thoughts of separation, whatever it is, whatever kind of separation, into a framework of unity. And do this really in every moment of the day. Process your emotions when they rise, and become very clear about your dreams. And every day, make an active step to manifest them. So, Anna, could you take us through what came through us in our work lately?
Yes. Yes. Well, we've just gone through this big list, and of course, we could spend time on every single one of these points and elaborate. But maybe each of these points you can come back to and meditate on them. Because, for example, shifting all thoughts of separation into a framework of unity sometimes actually is quite a lot of work. It takes time. We have to really think about how to change an idea that creates separation into an idea that creates unity. So each of these points actually requires focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had cosmic revelations for light work within our school. We've had very specific guidance about how to, where to put our focus. The light realms have been showing us very specific global light work, and of course, it is anchored in peace work. Some of you know that we were called last year by Mary Magdalene to Cyprus to receive a universal codex of light connected to the Magdalene Melchizedek prophetess line. And in a couple days, actually, with PETRA, we're going to be returning to Cyprus to continue this work. And this time we will be preparing to guide our global community on a path of peace through Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy. So we hope that you'll be able to join us on that journey and that work. The gift that arose from our visit to Cyprus last year has gradually unfolded its petals. And step by step, following our return, we gain glimpses of the true proportions of what this gift was. And at its center lies a universal codex for peace, including teachings about Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy. So our bodies have since then been adjusting, receiving and adjusting to new cosmic frequencies in each of us in our own distinct way. And this has required time, trust, and allowance, and also surrendering into the unknown. It's also brought us into higher spiritual understandings about creation, a process that's ongoing, of course, which we will share with our global community as we're able to, and starting with our peace work program that will begin on the March equinox. And you can find a link probably to the information page in the chat that will be coming up. So what is Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy? In Mary Magdalene School, Cosmic Alchemy is a transcreation. So this is a method by which we create new realities. It's deeply connected to the Magdalene Melchizedek line that works with the alchemy of the seventh ray, which holds the mystery of bringing into material form something that exists in the subtle realms. So there's profound cosmic knowledge about creation that comes from working with this ray. And yeah, through which really the alchemical processes transcend just mundane creation to a level of spiritual creation, which makes anything possible. So the seventh ray allows us to awaken our whole being into the realm of divine alchemy. And for us, this is in a way the center of our research in our school. We feel it's a whole level of consciousness that will be coming in back to humanity to be remembered. And we feel connection to the Divine Mother is essential as we move into these alchemical processes. And through this connection, the Magdalene archetype, or the Magdalene consciousness, in other words, is activated. So inner alchemy is truly the space from which we access the reality of miracles. And these realities are becoming more accessible to us as we study them, as we work with them, as we move into them. Before they were accessible only to a select group of initiates from ancient mystery schools. And now they're really becoming accessible to anybody who would like to study these. They require a change of perception, and this, of course, requires dedication, focus, and practice. So it doesn't come on its own. It really requires work, for lack of a better word. So we will be supporting our global community in this process of inner alchemy in a month-long program, which is starting in about 3 weeks. And part of this talk is about spherical creation, is what we call it, shifting entire realities. So this is something we don't talk about very often. That's not heard about very often, but it's time for it to become more talked about, we feel. This is a way of creating that brings us closer to our original power of creation. So this spherical creation through which we really shift entire realities. So it's not the type of creation where we just manifest one thing or one situation that we may be praying for, but rather it's a type of creation which changes the entire fabric of the reality that we live in, the entire fabric of the reality that we inhabit. It's a very different kind of creation, the spherical creation. And so some of the questions we will go into the peace program with are, what are the non-physical realities or the multidimensional realms that are the source of our physical existence? How does our physical existence even come into form? Through which mechanisms? What are the mechanisms that bring something from the subtle realms into the material manifestation? What are these mechanisms? So these are extremely interesting questions that we like to study and we like to share, and we like to put our focus there, because when we focus on something, we grow that field and that field starts to reveal itself. So this is where we are putting our focus in the times to come this year. And this is also connected to growing our soul power. Soul growth is the ultimate currency of our times, we feel. And to develop our soul power, we need at least one soulmate. We need soul power in order to bring in the higher light. So when we make the choice for peace, we build our soul power to be able to move through any obstacle and to also be able to acknowledge the initiations of situations that might be challenging and the treasures that they bring. So we harness a path of soul growth, which is one of the greatest gifts of incarnating into this realm. And for this, we really absolutely need at least one soulmate, a person that we can be 100% transparent with, who's a companion to us as we explore the path of our inner world and our soul. It's absolutely necessary. So we will go deeper into growing our soul and soulmates, the importance of soulmates in our program. Very important topic in these times, and something we need to bring our awareness to in a whole new way.
So, other cosmic revelations. We really want to give you a small insight in what's happening, and also what's happening within the program and what kind of beings we also work with. Because right now we're in the process of opening and incarnating into new higher dimensional fields of intelligence. And we do this with special guidance from cosmic angels. And those of you who work with us, they have seen them coming in at the time that we were first on Cyprus. And the cosmic angels that have come forward specifically for the work for the path of peace are known as the Ophanim and the Cherubim. And they have come to us in preparation for this new global work, which we are calling a path of peace. And as this new higher reality field is opening, we witness these higher cosmic beings from higher celestial realms with us in the earth realms to support the next phase. And this is truly extraordinary because we had no access to these kinds of beings in the past. And their kingdom of light vibrated at a much higher frequency that we have not been able to access until now. So there is a big shift happening to that degree. So these beings have energy fields that have not been in our frame of reference. It takes time to get familiar with their presence, and we need to adjust our vibration to be able to meet with them. And our transmissions will be serving to support this process. And they are here for us all from the higher light realms at this time of liberation and multidimensional growth to support our journey of inner alchemy. And they are another marker for our great collective transformational journey, because otherwise they wouldn't have been here. So let us explain a bit more on these beings of pure light. First of all, the 𝐿. So we've been in contact with a higher order of angels called the 𝐿, and these are messengers of light from the higher heavens of the Heavenly Father. They are spoken about in many different books, among that also the Bible. And when the prophets of these ancient civilizations made contact with the higher worlds, contact was often made through the 𝐿, the messengers of light. Their service is to guide humans to the knowledge of the infinite way and to protect humans from belief systems which are inconsistent with the love and light of cosmic law, and to regenerate and resurrect source seed creation. So this order helps to bring new scripture to human beings, and they do this with the cooperation of the cherubim. And the cherubim are emissaries of light and keepers of celestial documents, the libraries of light. And this is connected to the Codex of Peace that we are going to be working with, and all the information that is coming through from the libraries of light. So the cherubim ensure that the thought forms of the masters and the ascended masters are perfectly aligned with the divine mother-father's plan. And since our work in the portal of Cyprus, the cherubim have been present with us, helping us grow the purify of our heart flame of unconditional love, and bringing us to a higher heart-mind purity, and sensitizing us to language that transcends judgment and separation. And there is a lot in process with these cosmic beings at the moment, and we'd love to share that with you in the upcoming work. So both of these groups of angelic beings will be supporting our upcoming global peace work, helping us to adjust our frequency fields and to be able to receive guidance and wisdom from their realm of intelligence. And we cannot say enough how grateful we are for that. Another field that has been opening is the remembrance of a field of spiritual wisdom that is held by the prophetesses of peace, which we first began to tap into, consciously anyway, when we were in Cyprus last October. So through our strong bond with Mary Magdalene and this transformative journey to Cyprus last fall, we have begun connecting to the wisdom that is kept in this line of prophetesses of peace from the Middle East region, who were known for their direct access to the Holy Spirit, the Shekinah. And we have been asked by the higher realms of light to resurrect this line and to call all those who feel a resonance with this information. The principles of Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy have been secretly preserved in this spiritual line and it is time to bring them back into circulation. So we are going back to Cyprus in a few days, and we'll share these records of light with you all in our upcoming peace program. It is for us really about becoming an alchemist of peace. We need the power of alchemy to establish peace on earth. And as we are here, we call ourselves Magdalene Cosmic Alchemists. And the program that is ahead of us, A Path of Peace, Magdalene Cosmic Alchemy, there are themes that we know and we're already guided into that we will be touching on, and those themes can be seen here on this sheet. We will talk, of course, in greater depth about this cosmic alchemy. We'll talk about cosmic tantra. The prophetesses of peace will come in, the soulmates, the Ophanim and the cherubim. Some asked how you write it. You can see it here, how you write it, the Ophanim and the cherubim. We will talk about coherency and our inner waters, the universal waters in the Aquarian age, the covenant of peace and the peace prophecies, the universal codex of peace, higher dimensional Merkaba structures that come with a new cosmic light body, the baptism by the Holy Spirit, and more, whatever rises in the field. So we do know that it's time to become the alchemical powerhouse that we have the potential to be, and to become an alchemist of peace. So we invite you all to join us for this peace work. And as you can see in the slide here, we will be covering many beautiful themes. We'll be diving into in a deep way. So if you feel the call to join us on our real-time spiritual journey, then please register for the program. And the link is here in the thread. Thank you for that, Laura. And yeah, Anna, would you like to take it from here for some final comments? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, as we access and we embody universal intelligence through a process of cosmic alchemy, we also show our commitment to walking the path of peace, as this also helps us sublimate our bodies into higher light. We know that commitment to this path of transmutation, of sublimation, is really the foundation of our new world consciousness. So the themes that we went over now will be brought through various mediums in this program. We'll be sharing revelations, higher spiritual wisdoms to collectively hold the field for the benefit of humanity. So we will be doing that through audio transmissions, writings, video recordings. There will be one global meditation and 2 live Q&As and sharing session with real-time transmission. So that's the way that we will be presenting materials for the program. The dates of the program are from the 19th of March until the 12th of April. There is a participation fee. If you are in the remembership community, then it's 177 euro, otherwise 222 euro. Of course, anyone that would like to join the remembership community is welcome to do so and receive the reduced price. We want to clarify that this program is for anyone who is committed to walking the path of peace and expanding the oneness consciousness on Gaia, to having deeper insight into cosmic alchemy, studying this with us, going deeply into our focus with us. This is really a group mission for those who volunteer to bring in the higher divine architecture. So just to be clear, this journey will be a revelation to us all as we step into it. We can never say ahead of time what the reach of the work will be until we move through it. All we can say is that when we gather together and focus our light, then miracles always happen. When the soul groups come together, a field's activated, always that can be really likened to a sun, to a collective sun, and that happens globally. So this will be a journey of deeper connection, surrender, also much deeper surrender to the Divine Mother, the cosmic Sophia of all creation, which we consider to be one of the most important steps, actually, that we could be taking at this time of remembering on our path of peace. So you can see more details about this program in the chat, or you can look up also on our school web pages. You'll also receive an email tomorrow with this video, this recording with more detailed information. So all the themes that we mentioned above will be in our programs also in the next months. And just we'd like to give a little bit of an overview, not only about the peace program, though this one is going to be the big program that we will be doing with incoming spiritual technologies and practices, exactly during the time when our collective journey astrologically will probably be very, very bumpy. So we're asked to bring in as many people as possible to hold a field of peace, collective inner work to stabilize and facilitate also the collective human journey through this time period. So that's the peace program. We hope that you will be numerous in joining us. Then we will also be coming together for International Women's Day, which is March 8th, for a global meditation. It's also Shivaratri. Maybe you know Shivaratri. It's considered to be one of the most auspicious days of the year to release old karmic structures that have been created through the disconnection with our higher self. So this day is very auspicious. We really invite you and encourage you to use the energies of that day for your own liberation process. And we will be coming together for a global meditation in the morning, Paris time. Then we will have a global meditation, a second global meditation this March. It's quite busy on the equinox. But this time it will be an evening meditation so that we can be as close as possible to the peak of the equinox. We feel it's important to synchronize ourselves with the creative portal that this is. It has incredible creative potential of new creation. It's also the meditation that will kick off our month-long peace program. And after that, as many of you know, we will be guiding a retreat in Cyprus in May. The retreat is full. But if you would like to work with us in person, that there's still places left for our Vézelay retreat in France, which is July 21 to 27. We celebrate the feast day of Mary Magdalene here in a very special way in Vézelay with rituals that belong to the Basilica of Mary Magdalene, where her reliquia are kept. So that's end of July. And there's also a waiting list for the next Cyprus journey, which we hope will be in the fall. So those are our programs for the upcoming period of time. And with that, we will open the floor. If anyone has any questions that you would like to ask or comments you'd like to share, then maybe you could share them in the chat, or alternatively use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen. And then you will pop up on our screen. Oh, I see Andrea.
Andrea, yeah. Hey, Andrea, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. It's so lovely to be with you both. Thank you so much for this beautiful work that you're doing. It's so divine. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
I was curious about the soulmates, if you could talk a little bit about that. And because you said it's necessary, and like, what about people like myself who live alone and want a soulmate but don't maybe have one? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can respond to that.
you.
The importance of this time is for us to come really truly into our transparency with ourselves, and also to have somebody that we can share our field with, that can actually ask us questions about certain things that we're exploring in the inner realms that might not be clear to us. But as we are able to speak with someone about the process that we're going through, it's incredibly useful in order to evolve our own consciousness. And if you are alone in this at the moment, there are all kinds of online communities that you can participate in. I mean, we have also an online community where we function as soul family for those who need a place actually to process the things that are happening inside. Because we often, when we are in the inner realms doing research, spiritual research, we find ourselves in areas that are unknown, and we need to actually talk those through with someone else in order to gain a better understanding. And maybe that understanding might not come right away, but it comes with time. And so that's one whole level. But maybe the first and foremost level is to have that full transparency in order to come into full and total respect for our own processes and for who we are. And we come into a place where we welcome each and everything that goes through us. So it's a way of coming into full transparency, where the higher self can be accessed and used, using our vehicle that has become transparent for the higher mind and for the higher evolution. So that's kind of a short answer. I don't know, Petra, whether you want to add anything to that. I hope that that's clear.
Yeah, I want to add two things. First of all, with the Aquarius energy, it's really about being in the brother and sisterhood. So it's very important to have these energies flowing and the exchange so we grow together. And I want to just say, because you touched on it, and maybe I misunderstood, but you please don't read soulmates as twin flames per se. So this is a different thing. We're really talking about anyone who you can be in full transparency with. And this is not to be understood per se as twin flames, but of course it can also be twin flames. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Was this helpful, Andrea?
Yes. Yes. I'm definitely in search of soulmates.
Well, keep the intention, because the universe always answers our intention when we really stay focused with it. So someone will appear.
Thank you. Yes, I believe that is true. I also believe that it is part of our evolutionary path to be in that type of soul community.
Absolutely.
Part of our
Yes.
growth.
Yes.
I agree.
And the more we actually open into that total transparency, the more we realize that many, many, many people can be our soulmates. We grow into soul community. And this is a very, very beautiful experience. And I think that this is one of the big, big, big transformations of this time. Yeah. So we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for letting me be transparent about my question.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you.
first step. Wonderful. I see that there's Honey Hansen. You say, I have a question or a sharing. What I read is a sharing, but is there also a question, Honey, or is this what you want to share? Because those moments can be any moments that you experience the Divine Mother indeed. They can come in all kinds of moments. Thank you for
Beautiful.
that.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
Is there anybody else?
Can you hear me?
Annie,
trying
yes,
to
yes, we
write-
can hear you. Yes.
I was trying to type the question, but it was taking too long. So the question was, so after having this really beautiful experience, suddenly some hours later, I felt a lot of disbelief and just felt like a big lack of faith. And I was just feeling like, oh no, what happened? Like it was so incredible and suddenly it was gone. And then I felt, or I started to tell myself, maybe like you were talking about this expansion and then contraction, like as it being like an effect after receiving so much love going into this, contrast or alignment or balance or something. I don't know. I was just sharing this to know if you had something to say about that, like going into such a beautiful blessing and then feeling even more disconnection than before. Like, yeah. That was the question. Thank you guys. I love you.
Yeah, it was a little bit hard to hear, but do you want me to answer that? I think I understood. Or would you like
Yeah,
to?
because I could not really hear it in my speaker. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's more about the experience of having this very beautiful moment with the Divine Mother, and then feeling worse after the moment was over. And it's so important for us to not get attached to any moment, but really to stay present to the gift of every single moment as it arises. And we are at a time when part of our systems may have revibrated into a higher vibrational field, while another part of our system is still vibrating in a lower frequency field. And this is the whole work of sublimation, as we really tend to those parts of ourselves that are still vibrating in these lower frequency fields, and we embrace them, and we don't judge them, but we embrace them, and we give them space to express themselves. And through various spiritual tools and techniques, healing modalities, we bit by bit we transmute them into higher frequency fields. So this is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing work. It's where we put our attention at the moment, and the presence of the Divine Mother is there to remind you that this is where your whole system is going. And with time and with patience and with dedication, more and more and more of your system, it will be meeting those frequencies. And it's so beautiful. It's actually so beautiful.
Yes, guys, thank you so much. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming to a closure. Maybe we can have small moments of
Maybe
closing.
there's one more. Maybe we'll take one more question from Selena, or one more sharing.
I don't see.
Hi, Anna. Hi,
Hello.
Petra.
Hi.
I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
All right, great. My question was about, of course, the awakening. And I live in a very different part of the world, which is the GCC, the United Arab Emirates. And I've had an awakening about 2 years ago. And I felt like I was going crazy because no one understood. And anyone I spoke to thought I was really crazy. Now, fast forward 2 years later, I feel like I've come down a rabbit hole. I've come to know so much. I've learned so much. I've evolved through my own journey. but I don't see anyone else actually going through the same thing. I know that everyone's journey is going to be different, but I see that marriages are falling apart. I do see that happening a lot around me. But I also have seen that it's only women who are actually feeling the shift in their energy at the moment. It's not the men. And would you know as to why? Is this just happening randomly in certain places and not everywhere else? I mean, I'm not really able to understand because well, I would say that I'm the only one right now in the family who's actually going through this. And it feels really like the black sheep in the family. So it's kind of difficult. But I think in 2 years, yes, I've evolved. I've changed a lot. I've been meditating, which I've not been able to do 6, 7 years back. I've got into a lot of daily practices, but I've also lost a lot of things. But I don't think that people actually know that there is a shift going on in this part of the world. Would you know why? Is there something specific about certain countries? Is that the way it's going?
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Do you want to respond to
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to answer this.
I'm sorry, there are just so many questions in this question.
Yeah. Let's talk about regions. I mean, there are definitely specific portals around Gaia that are supporting our awakening process in smoother ways, sometimes in faster ways, because the portal is so strong that everybody who lives there lives in a very specific high resonance. So being around a portal like that amplifies. But there is also other places that are more dense, that are not fully opened. And I'm talking here geographically for a moment.
Right.
And then so that is one part. So it can be about portals and about vortexes and how the grid is opening up on Gaia's body in a way. There is, of course, also the cultural element, which is a big element of why some countries are amplifying faster than others in spirituality or in the way that we view the world. And that can be based through religions that are dominant in a culture. It can be based on cultural habits. It can be based on anything that is there from the origin of the people that live there. So there are some countries that are more open, maybe more open-minded or into the energies that we are working with than others. I mean, we can name them, but still the energies are, of course, accessible everywhere. So those who've come here to live in a specific place with a specific soul mission will always step into the field of the Divine Mother, of the field of the energies of love and light, because they're always accessible. And I think that's also what's happening with you, Selena, that you've come here very specifically through this path. But I do know that in the region where you live, we have several people in the school who are participating often from your region. So they are there.
Wow.
But maybe also it's also maybe the case that people do not speak up completely because they don't feel safe. That's another element. So it's not
Yes.
always that they are not there. Maybe they're not in your direct family or direct group of people around you, but it's also about how safe is it, how safe do people feel themselves to speak up. That's a whole process we're going through around the world at the moment, to speak up and to rise. And the energies that we have at the moment will give an extra wind in our back to do so. So we'll be helped to speak ourselves and speak our truth, which can also be then be the beginning of a creation process through our chakra, through our
Truth.
throat
Yeah.
chakra, to start creating the connections and the network and the communities that we also desire to live in. Yeah. So those
Yes.
are a few different angles that we can touch on, but there's way more to talk about. But these
Right.
are just a few I would like to touch on for now. Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think it's happening more with women than in men? At least from what I've seen a lot of I've seen my cousin feeling the shift. I've seen another friend feeling the shift, but I've not seen it in men.
It's
We have
really
some men here in the group, right?
we do have men in
Yeah.
the group, and it
Yeah.
is true. It's been prophesied that it would be women that would be leading the way in this era, and so that's the way that it's happening. It's the women
Oh,
are
wow.
awakening first. And my personal experience is that in the two places that I have lived through this awakening process, it's always been groups of women that start and then the men follow. And we have to be patient. But, you know, there was a Aleut elder that was here some years ago, and he said, you know, we really don't know why the men are dragging their feet. And, and in a way, we all pray for the awakening of the men, well, for awakening of everyone. That's really the prayer. That is the prayer that we all hold. That's the field that we're trying to amplify. And the more we amplify it, the more it will also hold those in the awakening process so that they feel safe in it.
Right.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
one more thing, one last thing.
Yeah.
Sorry about this, but I had one last question. So I did see in the beginning of your presentation the mention of Melchizedek, and I wanted to know who this person is.
Would you like to answer that one?
Well, he shows himself in so many different ways, but he's an incredible expression of wisdom that is connected to the seventh ray. We work a lot with him. He's been a lot with us in the temple of Melchizedek, which we found in the spheres of ascended Orion, which is he's an incredible teacher, and he teaches. He has taught many priests and priestesses throughout the eons in the way of creation, in a way. And he's directly connected to Joshua also, and to many other ascended masters who has been really guided. And there is the great white brother and sisterhood that is also connected to him. I would really encourage you to connect with him from your heart and to invite him in as a teacher if you feel connected to him somehow, because he might also touch on you and your question and learn you in your process where you're in and in the situation you live at the moment. And he
Right.
will bring in wisdom that you have no idea that it was dormant in you. So he's an incredible teacher, and he has led us through some really big transformative processes. And he is deeply connected to our work in Cyprus also. Yeah, he's been the one who's been guiding us in our first journey, and he's present in this one also. He's very, very involved in the whole ascension of Gaia. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Because there was actually a mention of Melchizedek in another YouTube video that I watched. And these
Yeah.
two blokes, they speak a lot about Melchizedek. And then I found that Melchizedek was also linked to Mount Shasta. So I've not done a lot of research on Melchizedek, but I know that, you know, somewhere on my journey, I will be doing that as well. And then I also heard someone mention that Melchizedek was also, what would you say, an incarnation of Archangel Michael. Would that be correct?
I don't know. I feel with whatever is said in the spiritual world, it's really important that we discern for
Discern,
ourselves
yeah.
what is the message here. And we only speak from our direct experience. The information we feel is coming through our channel. And
Right.
so we hear a lot of things, and we listen to them and we take them with us. But up until the moment that we experience it directly ourselves, then we just leave it for where it is and we research it. And so I don't know. I've never had any connection directly for myself between
Right.
Archangel Michael and Melchizedek.
Okay. Great.
Not in the way
Thank
that
you
you
so
express
much.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you know, I've had a lot of connection with Archangel Michael in my initial journey.
Yeah.
So when I heard the name Melchizedek, and because I hadn't researched, I felt the need to ask, because at least
Yeah.
now I do have someone who can answer those questions for me. But thank you guys so much. It was my first time here and I loved it. Thank you so
Oh, I'm
much.
glad
Thank
you
you so
made it.
much.
Thank
I
you
would
for
like
Yeah,
to
me
coming
say
too.
one more
and
thing. I would like really to say one more thing to you about
Sure.
this, because we bring out whatever it is that comes through our channel, but we really encourage always each and every one of you to really listen to your own guidance, and that is the path you have to follow. So we're here. If something resonates from our story, it's beautiful to take it, but always be your own guide in anything. So, and yes, there has been really, I mean, Lord Melchizedek has worked with so many of the archangels. So I'm sure there is a relationship. But when you ask specifically about an incarnation, that's something I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
so I think that we will slowly close for tonight. We had planned to do a little meditation, but I think that we will just make a very shortly, we'll close our eyes. We'll invite you to close your eyes just to be in the field together for another moment, and again to realize how it is to be in the space of the heart, to realize what a strong guiding force this heart space is in this time that we are living in, to realize that all of the answers that you are looking for to the important questions that arise for you, that they are to be found through the space of the heart. And from this space, we thank you all for being here today. We thank all of the angels and all of the masters who are here with us today, guiding us, helping us to come into full sovereignty, using our mastery of creation in this realm to create the beautiful reality we imagine within. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.